Hi, I'm Kat, and today I am doing the day and night book tag. So I was actually not tagged to do this as much as I was challenged, which I intended to explain about the challenges earlier today while completing one of the challenges, which is questing for coffee, but the filming part of that didn't quite work out, so I'm gonna do that later. I'll explain the challenges later. Let's just do the book tag for now. The first letter of all of these questions, if you line them up, it spells day and night, hence the title, Day and Night Tag. So let's start with the first question. Starts with a D. Do you read more in the morning or the night? Oh, to read in the morning you'd have to be up in the morning. What a funny question. I guess technically after midnight counts as morning, so I probably read more in the morning. But really, if we're going by like the sun is out or the sun is not out, I read more at nighttime. I read probably exclusively at nighttime. Are there any books that changed the way you thought about things? Yes! That would be weird if I'd never read anything that changed anything about my thinking patterns. The Giver was one of the first books that I had to read for school that I actually really enjoyed. Actually, it was one of the first books that I had to read for school, period, because we read it in like 5th grade, right when we actually started to have to read things for school. And this book just blew my little mind. It was dystopian before dystopians were cool. It's a little bit science fiction-y, and I'd never read anything like that before. And it just made me think differently about society and like rules and regulations and things of that sort. This is probably one of the books that really got me started with like thinking critically about reading and writing and analyzing things. Before I was just like, yeah, read, good story, okay, done, forget everything. But this book made me actually think about it. Another book that really changed the way I thought about things was more broadly the Harry Potter series in general, which just really affected me and made me fall in love with children's and young adult literature. But specifically The Chamber of Secrets, and an event surrounding this book, which I will now tell you all about. So growing up, I was the same age as Harry Potter. The books came out when I was 11, like Harry, and when I was 12, and in the 6th grade, 6th or 7th grade, I don't exactly remember, Chamber of Secrets came out. And my English teacher for that year was reading this book out loud in class to us. You're familiar with the Chamber of Secrets, I presume, and you know that in the beginning, Harry Potter is visited by a house elf named Dobby. And Dobby is making a lot of noise, and he has a squeaky, high-pitched voice, and it's a very, like, tense moment, because Harry is like, shh, calm down, I'm gonna get in so much trouble, and Dobby's like, I must punish myself! So my teacher was reading this book to us, and she was like doing voices and like getting into it, and she was doing a really squeaky Dobby voice. And everyone in the class was just really kind of stressed out and nervous because we were so into the story and so into how our teacher was like doing the voices and kind of like bringing it to life. And so we were all kind of stressed out, worrying for Harry, anxious. I don't remember exactly what happened, but one student spoke up and said something like, can you talk quieter, can you be quiet? And I think her feelings got a little bit hurt by that. She stopped reading to us for the day, and I didn't really think about it then, but it wasn't against her at all. It was just because like we were all so into the story and we were so worried about Harry. He's gonna get caught and Dobby is squealing and he's just gonna get in so much trouble. And afterwards I just thought about that, and it really sort of changed my way of thinking about the power of story and how we can get so caught up and invested in it when it's not even real. And one more book that changed the way I think about things was Looking for Alaska by John Green. Looking for Alaska was one of the first young adult novels that really opened my mind to the world of young adult, and that really got me interested in writing and reading young adult. And I just really loved that book when I read it. I still love it. It's still one of my favorites. And that is one of the books that really got me into writing myself. The next question is, young adult or not? YA or not? Yes, Young adult, yes. Obviously, I love young adult books. Most of my books are young adult books, and I have a lot of books. Are there any characters that you honestly believe are real? No, not so much. There are characters that I would like to be real, and there are characters that feel like they could be real, but no characters that I actually believe are real. Nobody touches my books, or I don't mind lending them out. I don't mind lending my books out as long as you are very, very careful with them. Okay? Don't hurt them or anything, because they are important to me. And you can't just borrow all of them. You can have one at a time. When you return that one, you can have another one. And after you borrow my book and read it, we must have a long discussion about how much we both loved it. It's the rule. Next question, do you ever smell your books? Occasionally, especially if it's brand new and I crack those pages open, it just smells, it has new book smell. I do like that, but I don't really have a habit of smelling my books or taking a big whiff before I read it. Not everybody loves books. Is this a positive or a negative? I don't think it's really an either-or kind of situation. I think that reading a book is a great experience and I love doing it for myself, but I know that there are people out there who don't feel the same way. I would not want to be negatively judged for enjoying books and reading. I would not negatively judge someone who maybe that isn't their thing. I keep my books in the best condition, or maybe not. I keep my books in pretty good condition. My Harry Potter books are kind of beat up because, like I said, I grew up with Harry. I was 11 when I got this book. It doesn't even have a dust jacket anymore, and there's stains on it, and it's all loose at the spine. I do want to keep my books in nice condition, and if anyone ever borrows them and returns them kind of beat up, I will be mad. Gosh, I have too many books. True or false? False. And a little bit true. I don't think there is any amount of books that are too much books. That being said, I do have a lot of books, and my to-be-read pile is pretty large and scary and daunting, but I will read these books. I love all of my books, and I intend to read all of them. I don't just buy them to look at them. So even though I have more books than I could reasonably read in a year, I still intend, over the course of my lifetime, to read them all, and to read many others along the way. Have you ever spilled or stained your books with something, and if so, how? Nothing that really stands out in memory. My Harry Potter books are a little bit dinged up, but I don't remember exactly how I stained them. Also, I wasn't the only one reading them. My younger sister and brother also had access to them, but since I am the reader in the family, I inherited them when I moved out. Stole them. And so some of those are kind of stained or a little bit dirty, but I don't remember how. As for the other books, I think they're all pretty clean and nice. No real stains or damage to them. Last question, toned or untoned while reading? Or in other words, do you exercise while you read? What? No. What? No. I don't even know how that would work. Reading a book and doing sit-ups, or you put the book on the ground or something and do push-ups into it. I have listened to audiobooks of Harry Potter while I cleaned my room. Does that count? It was kind of a workout. My room was really messy. Audiobooks while working out or driving, I can totally get on board with. Reading an actual physical book while working out, I kind of have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. It's a funny question. Alright, that is all of the questions in this, the day and night tag. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day or night, whatever it may be for you at the time of this viewing. And yeah, I'll have a new video up in a couple of days. Until then, goodbye!